advisory that vaccines cannot be administered to pregnant women yet. The FDA highlighted that the Astrazeneca shot has an advantage in terms of cold storage requirement, as it only needs 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. But more data is needed to clarify the earlier reported 70 and 90% efficacy based on 2 different dosing regimens.
The current thinking now is that it's not because of the half dose and standard dose or standard dose as a regimen, more of the time difference between the first dose and the second dose.
To date, only Pfizer and Astrazeneca have been granted EUA in the country. The FDA emphasized that approval for EUA does not include market authorization, as this requires separate certificate of product registration. So for now, it may only be used in the country through the immunization program of the national government. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. earlier mentioned that supply from AstraZeneca may arrive in the country by February. The health department, meanwhile, is ramping up its effort to boost vaccine confidence among the public. The DOH said they are now tapping religious leaders for the government's vaccine education drive.
Culturally, Filipinos are very religious and spiritual, and they always go to their yung kanilang mga spiritual advisors, spiritual leaders, yung kanilang mga priest, pastor, imam for things like this, no? And we want to get that potential.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines has expressed support, encouraging parishioners to do the same.
The bishops, this is now the Bishop Ambo, di ba? The bishops decided to offer, if needed, church facilities to be vaccination centers.
Officials said Pfizer and AstraZeneca are also eyeing a halal certification, as this is a concern of our Muslim countrymen. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
The NCRPO welcomes the possible downgrading of Metro Manila to modified GCQ status. NCRPO Chief Vicente Danao Jr. says this will help the country's economic recovery. He urges the public to continue observing minimum health standards regardless of the quarantine status. Metro Manila mayors earlier said that they're ready should the IATF decide to put the region under MGCQ come February.
It would be a very, very welcome development for all of us. At least siguro nakikita ng taas na nakokontrol na po natin yung virus. Hopefully, as long na hindi lang po natin mababiolate, yun pong ating mga very basic health protocols.
And the Health Department reported 1,100 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday. Of the 519,000 total case count, some 33,000 are still active. 71 more COVID-19 patients died in the past 24 hours, bringing the death toll to over 10,000. Total survivors are now at 475,000 after 60 more new recoveries today. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. AFP Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence Alex Luna has been fired over the release of an erroneous list of supposed NPA rebels. In a statement, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana described the publication as an unforgivable lapse. Lorenzana said Luna's negligence resulted in confusion and damaged the reputations of those involved. For its part, the AFP said investigation into the erroneous list will continue. The Philippine economy shrank by 8.3% in the last quarter of 2020, bringing full-year growth to negative 9.5%. And this is the slowest annual growth recorded since World War II, when the Philippine Statistics Authority started collecting data. But Malacanang welcomed this, noting that the economy still improved on a per-quarter basis after the gradual reopening of businesses. MRT3 management will not be imposing a lockdown in its Quezon City depot after at least 42 employees tested positive for COVID-19. Management says it is instead implementing enhanced access control. Transport Secretary Art Tugade says there's no need to halt MRT3 operations since infections are still contained within a specific department. We'll have more stories after this short break. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. One of the respondents in Christine Dacera's case makes an appeal to the flight attendant's mother to accept that her daughter died of natural causes. To tell us more, Ryan Ang joins us live from Las Piñas. Hi, Ryan. What are the newest developments in the Dacera case?
Yes, Sean, the camp of the respondents in the Dacera's case held a press conference in Las Piñas today after the release of results of several tests on her. The lawyers clarified that the document issued to the public yesterday was not a medical legal based on autopsy report but a histopathological examination. They also answered questions from the Dacera's camp on how the police were able to come up with a credible result if the Dacera's remains were already brought to General Santos City. Attorney Mike Santiago explained that by the time the SPD requested for an examination to the PNP crime lab last January 4, the Dacera's organs were already at the crime lab. As to why the body was embalmed, they said it was part of the investigators' guidelines for the new normal to embalm the body and conduct an autopsy after 5 hours. They also noted that the family had consent on the autopsy. It has also revealed that results were already available by January 11 but were not included during the January 13 preliminary investigation. All details, including contusions and abrasions, were indicated in the medical legal report released January 2. Meanwhile, Gregorio de Guzman, one of the respondents, appealed to Christine's mother, Sharon, to accept the autopsy result that her death was due to ruptured aortic aneurysm. He said 11 more mothers are suffering because of their accusations. As of now, they are awaiting for the raw CCTV footage from the hotel from December 31 to January 1. Sean, the respondents' camp appealed to the NBI and PNP to conduct a joint investigation to once and for all get to the bottom of the case. Sean.
Thanks for that update. That was Ryan Ang of News 5 reporting to us live from Las Piñas. And a political analyst describes China's new Coast Guard law as a warning shot to the Philippines. In an interview with the chiefs, UP Institute of Maritime Affairs Director Jay Batong-Bakal said that Beijing's operations in the South China Sea have now escalated to military level.
It is now directly under the military of China, and it is operating basically as a military service, despite the fact that its functions supposedly are civilian. No? So I don't think we should consider this as a gray zone tactic anymore.
And with this, Batong-Bakal called on the government to think more broadly and, along with other ASEAN countries, come up with a stronger and more unified stance against this new law.
It's not just us. There are other nations that are similarly situated as us. And if we were to unite in our positions, then that would make us stronger.
And a street vendor was killed while 2 others were injured after an improvised explosive device, or IED, went off on a roadside in Tulunan, North Cotabato. Jem Avancenia has the story.
This ticket booth in Tulunan, North Cotabato was wrecked after an IED exploded in the area at almost 1 in the afternoon yesterday. A bus within the area was also hit, while nearby stalls and establishments were damaged. Fruit vendor Malubadol, who was just a few meters away from the explosion, told us how strong the bomb was. Her cousin Gina Paunon, who is also a vendor, was badly hit and was declared dead on arrival in the hospital.
Kusog kayo, mamoy. Tapos pagbuto, hindi man namo dahil makita ang tao kay perte man kung kausok.
2 other people were wounded and are currently admitted at a hospital. Tulunan police revealed that the target for the bombing was the bus. Authorities are also exploring the possibility that the recent bombing is related to the failed bombing attempt at a bus terminal in Kidapawan City last January 7.
Kaya yung ginawa namin ng PNP dun sa area, sa mga terminal, is pinaigpitan. So hindi sila makapenetrate doon, kaya siguro humanap sila ng area na kung saan pwede sila makagawa. So nakita naman natin, IED na ginamit is nasa labas ng bus. So hinihintay nila pagdating ng bus bago nila ginawa yung.
They are still gathering evidence and hoping that CCTV footage in the area could help identify the suspects.
Authorities are looking into extortion as the possible motive behind the bombing. Police now are on full alert status as they are monitoring the movement of their suspects. For News 5, Gemma Pansenia, we are One News.
For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Liao. We are One News.